know you're screwed when even the rabbits won't fuck. Welcome to the Science Fiction Rating System, the podcast that aims to rank every science fiction film from 1 to infinity. It's a new year. It's 2018. Happy New Year.
Job. We're doing a good job with the list. Like, we're at, what are we at?
67? 63.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 2018 and we're still ranking. I'm joined as ever by Chris Redding.
Hello.
And Alex Humphrey.
Hey. Yeah, it's a new year.
Yes, a new fresh start. We are looking at 3 post-apocalyptic, snowy, ice agey sci-fi films. Mm-hmm. At least one of which I think was set in 2018. Was Snowpiercer set in 2018? I think that's when it all went wrong. I think at least.
No, it was 2031.
Was it?
Yeah.
What's 18 years back from that? 2015.
2014 is when it all went tits up the planet.
Thank you. So I'm completely wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to that later. Anyway, we're going to talk. No, Star Wars is next week. Sorry, I've got to get myself. Just going for that planner, and I've fucked a lot myself now. I'll cut all this out so it looks like I'm really professional. Won't matter. So let's, without further ado, let's get straight onto our first of these 3 films. And that was The Day After Tomorrow, probably the best known of the 3 films we looked at this week, directed by Roland Emmerich, written by Roland Emmerich, from a book. He's all over it, from 2004. We've watched a lot of his stuff lately. This is our 4th Emmerich film.
Yeah.
Followed the same sort of trajectory as the other ones. Alex, you don't sound like you enjoyed it.
Well, I would like to start this by saying that this is a fact. The movie features 416 visual effects shots with 9 effects houses and over 1,000 artists working on the film for over a year. I think that the effects in this were crap. I definitely don't think they were as good as one of these films, and I don't even know if they were as good as the other film. Really, the effects just didn't stand up to me at all.
It's quite old though, isn't it?
It is, but it's so weird because we've watched 2012, we've watched Stargate, we've watched Independence Day.
You can watch Independence Day and it still sort of looks alright,
true.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Independence Day still did look good, and I don't think I just didn't think the effects worked in this at all. And really, getting down to it here, if the effects didn't work, really, what does this film have? Because the plot is, the plot is, the only good, it was a bad film. It was a very bad film. Ian Holm, though, was brilliant, and he did somehow make me care about him and kind of that guy, with his wife. I kind of cared, like, a little bit about them, and like that little. It wasn't just because they were English, but that little enclave of characters, I did actually like them. But I do think it's because Ian Holm's a good actor. But no one else in this. I mean,
you even like the Manchester United bloke.
Oh, no, I didn't really like him. It's pretty bad casting as well. I don't think Jake Gyllenhaal looks like a teenager.
No.
And Dennis Quaid is not a front man.
No.
Even though they write into the story, they say in the story he's kind of grumpy.
No, yeah.
That's not a good excuse.
You said it before, and you were right. It's also got the worst president of any of these films ever. I mean,
totally,
he's not even really important, is he? It's the vice president that's
that's the worst, like, telegraphing for the fact the president's going to die. The fact that you recognise the vice president, but you've got absolutely no idea who the president is.
Yeah. The one other thing I'd say about this film is the only interesting point of this film comes in. So basically, if you made a sequel to this film, you could make an interesting film, because the idea that all of the countries had to move down to the southern hemisphere, and maybe like an idea, and there's that line that he says about they forgave all South American debt to let them, like, America move to South America. They forgave all their debt.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere,
What
if
debt?
you made a sequel, that they just say that as a line. I don't know why they say it, but
they do always say, though, that the whole southern hemisphere is a third world, which is a bit harsh on Australia and places like that.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit. Japan. But the concept that these countries that make, some of which are the third world, not all of them, some of which are, the concept that these countries are now not only extremely powerful, but also have a load of immigrants there who are from the Western world. That as a concept, it's not a science fiction concept, but that as a concept is actually a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
And something that they just throw in and then try and go, oh, isn't it nice everyone gets along? And isn't it great? And we're all brilliant now. Much like the end of 2012, where they're like, oh, look, we're all living in Africa now. Isn't this brilliant? We can all just live in Africa and it'll be brilliant.
That idea, though, is ripped off from a book whose name I can't remember. I was trying really hard to find it on Google. A book I read years ago about an ice age that happens. And it's all about the Europeans, they're basically refugees trying to get to South Africa that survived and is really well. And it basically ripped that whole idea off. But it's much more interesting in the book is there's lots of bits of like... people like swarming into the embassies and stuff and trying to get out of Europe to get down to South Africa. But yeah, I wish I remember what it's called because it's a really good book. But anyway.
No, well, yeah, anyway.
Chris, you're probably the biggest Roland Emmerich fan here in that
I'm
you
not
like
a Roland
one of his
I
films.
just like Independence.
No, I'm saying you like one of his films.
I don't like any of these other ones.
No, I know, no. Don't worry, I'm not tying you that brush. I'm saying you're the biggest of three fans here. But what do you think of this one?
Well, I went to New York last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of this is set in New York. So I was just looking at all the locations, basically. That was interesting to me. Everything else was rubbish. Considering there's a lot of water, well, CG water you see it going into New York. I don't feel like it's wet. It's kind of just particles, isn't it?
Solid.
Yeah.
You get one wave and then you get ice.
Yeah.
So dumb, isn't it? It's just so dumb.
Yeah, the science doesn't really work, does it?
No, it's mad.
It's an understatement.
No, it's got
you must
no basis.
Yeah, what's the science inaccuracies in this one, Chris? Come on, there must be tons.
Well, yeah, I mean, just the whole basic idea of there's these big storms out of nowhere. They need energy to make a hurricane.
Yeah.
So, and isn't there 3 around the world or something?
3 megastorms, yes, that's right, yeah.
Symmetrically.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, where's that energy coming from to make those cyclones? Because it's like, what do they call it? It's the momentum, it's like when it goes around the toilet bowl, it's the momentum of all the winds go together to make the cyclone.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense at all. And why is it an odd number? Because that actually makes it even more stupid. Because one would two would overtake the other if one's going the opposite way around. It doesn't make any sense.
Also, the idea that the sea rises so fast it causes this, but absolutely nobody noticed that happening.
Yeah. I mean, where's all the water coming from?
Yeah. Well, he said that Larsen B's collapsed, doesn't he? But then, like, what did it just collapse overnight, or I don't understand.
What's collapsed? Sorry.
Larsen B, hasn't it? The ice shelf.
Yeah.
At the start when they're there and they're like, oh, it's all falling apart.
But like an iceberg can take 15 years to melt when it breaks.
That's what I mean. Yeah. They're going to always be accelerated, but like, they'd still notice. Somebody would notice, wouldn't they?
But there's still basic physics of, the thermal mass of the South Pole would take centuries to,
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal also outruns a tsunami at one point, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's great.
He's also
one of my favourite.
And also, actually, I forgot the bit that pisses me off the most is the wolves. I hate the Timberwolves. You know what? I even did some research into Timberwolves.
Right.
Because I was so mad because I was just like, surely, and it says...
Did you watch what's that one with Liam Neeson?
Oh, I love that film, The Grey.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Was that part of your research?
No, but I love that film. It says there are few historical records of modern cases of wolf attacks in North America. In the half century up to 2002, there were 8 fatal attacks in Europe and Russia, 3 in North America, more than 200 in South Asia, so, stay away from there. The ferocious reputation of the wolf is unjustified. Biologists say wolves are very afraid of people, and humans have even taken pups from a den while the parents whined instead of attacking. In the past quarter century, dogs have killed more than 300 people in North America, while wolves have killed 1 or 2. So, why? What? They're not scary. Why is that even in that? Why is that wolf bit there? It's so stupid, isn't it?
It's obviously run out of things to do, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because you know the scene when they sort of telegraph the walls, they're going around the zoo. It seemed like so they took it to the screen, the previous screenings.
Those wolves are going, "You're laughing now, humans."
Yeah, we're going to get you. We're in cahoots with that storm. You better watch out.
Nature is coming for you.
It seems so incongruous, that bit where there's just that weird keeper's like, oh, the animals are upset. Yeah. And then you see the door of the wolf thing. It's like,
it's so weird.
And they look crap as well. I mean,
the wolves are the worst effects thinking thing. Yeah. So I obviously disliked it as well. It's complete shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It reminded me of. Have you ever seen? There's an M. Night Shyamalan, whatever his name is, film where like the wind's getting out to get people.
The Happening.
You ever seen that?
Yeah, I have.
It reminded me of that, and that's like, that's completely awful, but that's so bad it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
because running from nothing aren't in that one, but it kind of had that feel to me of like running from a big storm. And my main problem with it, as I said beforehand, was like Dennis Quaid. Not only is he not a front man, but it's almost as if the film they decided while making it he's not a front man, and so kind of Jake Gyllenhaal takes on the role, doesn't he? Even though it's Dennis Quaid's ridiculous idea of like going across the snow to fix him.
It's just covered in lots of little like ideas, like just spattered with them, like the 2012 was. Like the little bits of interest which they think, oh, we'll put that in there. Someone might find that interesting. Like, like the Queen on a helicopter or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That crash.
That guy freezing.
I like the flash freezing effect of how a helicopter just goes.
Yeah, that's probably the best scene in the film, I'd say.
Total rubbish. Like, What was she going? Going to Balmoral or something?
Balmoral, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what you do when...
Get a helicopter fly off. Yeah. It's a really bad waste of a good film title as well, I think. The Day After Tomorrow is a great name for a film, isn't it? But it's a quote from something, isn't it? I can't remember what. It's from a poem or something.
Oh, it's what's it, Rand?
I'm Rand.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. And they even mention him, don't they? My other fun fact about this is that South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone managed to get their hands on a copy of this film script during its pre-production. The two planned to secretly shoot the same film with puppets instead of actors, word for word, and release it on the same day. The duo abandoned these plans after their lawyer convinced them that to do such a film, that it would be illegal to do it and it'd never get released. But how cool would that have been? Yeah,
if they. I read as well that they did. There's a scene of it. I couldn't find it. They did do a scene apparently, but I've not.
That would be amazing.
I'd have liked to have done that for Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Ooh.
Save that for next week.
We're not talking about that now.
Tickling that.
Yes. That would have been good. It was a massive box office success, but I feel like this is sort of the last time his shit kind of worked. Because he did like 10,000 BC after this and 2012 and things like that, and I think the zeitgeist moved on, didn't it? Because I remember this being a big deal.
People just saw enough CG for it to get old. Then
totally. And also CG became an everything thing, didn't it? Like it wasn't just his sort of films. CG became a thing that all filmmakers were using constantly, didn't they? Like Lord of the Rings, things like that got proper stories and lots of effects as well. So
I think he did. I think when we were doing 2012, I don't said it at the time, but I think when he was touring around, like doing the press for that, I think he actually said, "Oh, this is the last disaster movie I'm doing." But that was a lie, wasn't it? Because he did Geostorm. So.
Yeah, and also that is. No, he didn't do. That's Dean Devlin. That's not Emmerich. That's the other one. Yeah, right. But 2012 is almost a decade after this, isn't it? And this should have been.
It covers basically the same shit.
Oh, it's very similar. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like these guys. They're much better filmmakers when they're using practicals, aren't they?
I think, he's just. There's not much. The thing about Emmerich is that he's not offensively awful in directing with Michael Bay. I don't think there's any sort of Michael Bay's films with the camera whizzing around all the time. He's there, isn't he? You can see Michael Bay all the time, and he's so annoying, like Armageddon and things like that. Emmerich, he's got no sort of touch, has he, or flair to his.
He hasn't got any of the bro side of things, the sexism or anything. But
do you know
that.
what I mean? He's got no sort of signature sort of look, has he, or anything like that? He's just a competent filmmaker making boring films, and it's just.
It is. I mean, I know I don't want to get back into the Independence Day argument, but it does make. It's funny how he's made Independence Day, And he's literally just gone, cool, I will literally just keep making this again and again. The construction of it, the multiple characters, jumping around the world, always the president being in it. I mean, he really is just repeating himself. And he's somehow he's somehow okay with that. I don't get why he's so okay with that.
But isn't it funny, like, the most, like, plausible one out of all of his films is the Alien one?
Yes. Yeah, and the best one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
One more little thing about Emmerich before we move on to the ranking. Have you seen what has become of Stargate Origins? Have you seen the teaser for that?
No.
So that isn't a film now. It's like a series of like 10-minute webisodes, which I think have been released for free. I guess they couldn't get the film made, but it looks absolutely terrible.
Our franchise has dropped.
Yeah, yeah. Pity, eh?
Oh.
Well, not really. Anyway, so let's rank this film. I think, for me, not as bad as 2012. Cause I wasn't like offended by the message about.
It's just total yawn, though, isn't it?
The world. It is really boring. I mean, it's like Armageddon. I'd say probably 52, one above Armageddon.
What
are you gonna say, Chris?
Yeah. See, I like space more than fucking waves.
Yeah. Yeah, I said alright. It wasn't as offensively awful as Armageddon.
Yeah, but I know there's a Michael Bay issue as well.
Yeah.
I had it above 2012 because I think 2012 is like literally just one above 2012 because 2012 is offensive. I think 2012 is ramming down.
I would have it underneath The Martian. I would have it at 55.
Above Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yeah.
Well, that's between mine and Alex's. So let's go for that.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like The Martian was crap, but it's not as bad as this, is it?
No.
This was.
I think we gave Ridley a hard time on The Martian.
Yeah, I think the problem was because of Prometheus had upset us so much. I think we were sort of on a downward. Actually, The Martian was terrible. No,
I hate Jessica Chastain. I'm not gonna
and also, you read the book and it's garbage. The book.
The book is terrible as well, isn't it? Yeah. I keep getting someone keeps telling me at work to read his new book Artemis, and I keep saying "fuck you." It's not happening.
It's a shame because he seems like a lovely guy.
He does, yeah.
But there's a lot of lovely guys out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Not all of them have their books made into movies.
No, and make lots of money. Right, that was short and sweet, but we've got two more, not necessarily good, but perhaps more interesting films to come to. So let's have a break and come back with The Colony. Back with The Colony, directed and written by Jeff Renfro, who disappears into the ether after this film, made on a shoestring for 16 million Canadian dollars.
Yeah,
and starring a very much post-Matrix Lawrence Fishburne, and I guess well into his TV years, Bill Paxton, and still he only got them for like a few days. So The Colony. I'll start with this one. Absolutely dreadful, like dire, completely dire. Like barely. It was so cheaply made. The fact they go through every set in the film twice, like the idea of like, we're going to walk this other place, see how they're getting on, and come back, and that it's a bad film when one of the main set pieces is people trying to jump over a bridge, and that happens twice. That set piece happens twice. There's a little gap in the bridge. We've got to jump over this. Yeah. That was terrible. The cannibals are like not really believable, and they don't talk because they're kind of zombies, but we can't do zombies because we kind of ground it.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton, he looks like very ill. I'm not sure why he looks so terrible, and he's completely awful. Lawrence Fishburne's doing what he can do, but again, terrible. Everyone else involved's awful. The best thing about this film for me was the fact that the voiceover for the trailer also started the film, where obviously they couldn't afford the budget to show what had gone on, so they've got this guy just going like, oh well, it was really bad and the snow fell, and and now look at us, we're left in this sort of weirdly not defined colony system where my girlfriend's got terrible dreadlocks and everyone is annoying. for reasons not really explained. And then they leave there and they go and find some cannibals. Then they run back. And the most nonsensical bit of the film for me was when they're like, "Oh, these cannibals are coming. They're miles away. We've all got rifles. We've seen people looking down the scope of rifles into the snow. We've been told they're not anything other than cannibals. They're humans. But rather than just go on the roof and shoot the cannibals, there's only about 15 of them. There wasn't that many, was there?
No, there wasn't that many.
No,
really.
Rather than shoot them, we're going to just wait inside and get scared and then get attacked by them and etc. It was absolutely... This is bottom 5 of the list for me. Just atrocious filmmaking, top to bottom. Chris, what do you think about this film?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with most of that. The fact that the word colon is in the title... and the director shares a name with one of my favourite Muppets.
Yes, true. Renfro the bear. Yes, yeah. I thought about that as well. I had jalapenos going through my head. Or
the goat. Yeah.
Alex, have you ever seen Muppets from Space?
We will get there.
No, I don't think I have. Yeah, no, I don't think I have.
Me and Chris watched it a lot when we were in school.
We'll do that on the comedy week with Ghostbusters.
Renfro will be redeemed then that week. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
anyway,
any
let's not
positives
talk about the
to add?
Muppets from Space. This is very bad. I agree with what you say, how they just repeat things, and it's very like formulaic. You can see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The threat isn't much of a threat.
No.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Very straight to video, wasn't it?
Yeah. I didn't mind. I thought, having watched the trailer, I thought I was quite up for it because it seemed like a good one. But yeah,
it's a good. There still aren't many of these sort of like the Thing sort of films, are there? Really?
No.
And I think there is room for another good one of these, and this isn't this. Alex, you've seen it before, hadn't you?
No,
I reviewed it.
Yeah, I reviewed it before, and I was a lot nicer than I should have been, really. But I think my problem with it is the same problem with it, was that you've got, really, it's 2 films. It's a film it's one film which is, well, you could say it's 3 films, but it's one film which is, let's have a load of people, it's been an apocalypse, a load of people are stuck in a place, and then humanity is its own worst enemy because they've got to fight, and I want to do this, we should do it like that, and survival of the fittest, no, let's be caring, and that's one film. And then the other film is this just dumb, stupid... zombie stroke, vampires stroke, Day Off. I Am Legend, they look like those vampires, didn't they? Yeah. They look like 30 Days of Night. It's this stupid... they can't speak, yet they all know fucking martial arts for some reason. They can all have these ridiculous kung fu fights, but none of them... It's a
classic, like... what's the Resident Evil guys? Paul Anderson.
Yes,
it's that kind of like...
Yeah.
Fast cut, shake the camera around, make them run towards you a lot. That kind of bad guys.
Yeah, they're fast. They've got and those 2 films don't. It's not enough of one or the other to make it a coherent thing. He didn't have enough confidence in either part of that.
Totally.
The fact that Lawrence Fishburne and Bill Paxton both blow themselves up is a bit weird as well.
Yeah.
Both die in huge explosions, which I didn't really understand. And also the message at the end didn't make any sense to me, because the message seemed to be, because he just says, doesn't the man, because there's 2 films here linked by your name. Both characters, Gyllenhaal is called Sam, and the main guy in this is called Sam.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says at the end, now all it's about is about survival. So, what, does that mean he's going to be more like Bill Paxton? Is he going to be more like the weird feral leader bloke? And are they going to walk to that place? Was that the end? That they're literally going to have to walk with 1 jar of seeds to that warm bit?
That's the idea.
Well, aren't they just going to die?
You'd think.
Yeah.
No, because they'll get there and they'll plant the seeds immediately, and then the plants will grow and they'll eat them and they'll be alive.
That one plant.
I mean, I thought it'd have been a better twist if the message had been a trick. The message had actually been by the cannibals to get people to go.
That's what I thought was happening. Yeah,
It seemed like it, didn't it?
They let the people who got that.
But they use a satellite, don't they?
Oh, I don't know. They could have sent it before they turned into crazy cannibals and used it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was. Do you
think I suspect that there was a script at some point written by someone called The Colony, which was a lot better than this film, that didn't have the cannibals. That was
I hope someone made money out of this, because there's no other reason for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you said it was written by him, but there's 3 other names on
there are a lot of names
as well.
Yeah.
It was filmed in a decommissioned NORAD base. That's cool. But again,
they're 10 a penny, mate.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Me not knowing about NORAD bases. No, it's just rubbish, isn't it? No, it's just rubbish.
I think, to be honest, the set is the best thing about it, isn't it? The set's the best thing going through it. The music was abysmal. That awful sort of like...
Oh, really bad.
Yeah.
It's that kind of like... Again, it's all... I think in many ways, 28 Days Later is a bit like Independence Day, in that 28 Days Later, I think, is a good film, but it made a lot of bad films appear after it.
Well, what it did was it made a convincing horror film on a tight budget, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it made like a new sort of horror that you get a good post-rock song going, you get a bit of like
Fast
driving
zombies.
guitar, you get a good set of actors who are cheap but good, film it somewhere other than America, and you've got a hit. And I think that basically, I mean, still today, people are just chasing that, aren't they?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yes.
And I mean, the thing people forget about 28 Days Later is it's only half a good film anyway. Once they get to the base, I think that film's crap. Once they meet the army, you know, it's not as good as
I do like Sean Pertwee.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a good, yeah. But I just think the film just stops and anyway, that's for a different podcast, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, this
is it Sean Pertwee in that, or am I imagining it?
I think it is. Yeah, he's the boss. Isn't
I get
he?
mixed up between that and Dog Soldier.
Anyway, so I think that's about all there is to say about this, isn't it? There's not much there.
No. If it hadn't been Lawrence Fishburne and Bill Paxton, we wouldn't have been watching this film.
No, you're probably right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it was mercifully short, wasn't it? It was kind of over before it started, which I appreciate that because a lot of these bad films are really fucking long, like Last Jedi, for instance. But
Ooh.
Anyway, let's rank this film. Chris, you can go first.
Probably 61.
61. So below Thunderbirds, above Divergent. Alex.
Yeah, no, I'm all right with that as well, actually, because Thunderbirds is mildly entertaining. Divergent, again, is a bit offensive.
Thunderbirds has got decent music, at least. This is garbage.
Yeah. And Bill Paxton again. So we kind of feel like you're being nice to him there and being like, look, you're shit in that, but you're a bit better in Thunderbirds.
Yeah. I think you're probably right, because I literally cannot remember what Divergent even was. What was Divergent?
It was the terrible
teen one. Where
you were in a gang.
You were in a gang and you couldn't.
Oh, they were running around everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Yeah,
okay,
Kate Winslet had to cover a pregnant belly the whole time.
Yeah. Well, that had a real budget, so that should be lower, shouldn't it? Because that should have been better, right?
Yeah.
So the colony enters at 61. Poor old Renfro, but he will return, delivering a sandwich to a Muppet in jail at some point. Anyway, let's have a break and come back with our final and I imagine probably highest scoring film of the day, Snowpiercer. We're back with our third and final film, and it very neatly ties into next week where we're doing South Korean films. This is Snowpiercer, directed by Bong Joon-ho, and based on a book, I believe. I think it's a book, or maybe a comic.
It's a graphic novel.
Graphic novel,
French
that's it,
graphic novel called
Le Transpersonnage.
Yes. And in fact, the guy that is the artist, all his pictures are drawings from the book.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
so, this film, very odd. I'd seen it before. Neither of you had seen it, had you?
No. A friend had told me about it, though.
What do you think?
I like it, and I like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
If you forget about how stupid the premise is...
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of one of these Wizard of Oz type journeys. I like journey films, like how it's getting up to see the wizard. I kind of my interest waned towards the end. I don't think we were, really progressing and making big strides as far as the story goes at the end.
There's a lull after Tilda Swinton dies.
Yeah.
It's been too long outside the front of Ed Harris's house.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah, anyway.
Okay.
I could think up like 2 or 3 better main premise, like ideas of why they were stealing kids, for instance, and than what they came up,
But that is a very Wizard of Oz thing, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
That idea of them being like trapped behind doors and doing little mechanical things plays into the sort of fairy tale vibe of it, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah. Why does the train have to keep moving? I'd never understood that bit.
To keep the power running, isn't it? Isn't the engine power everything? So it powers the water. Yeah, because
the water...
The heating, everything is powered by the engines. And it's got to move to keep it powered.
And the engine's taking the snow off the front of the train.
And making it into water.
Yeah, so like gathering it by moving.
Oh, I see. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So it needs to move.
Water comes through the nose. It doesn't come through the bum.
Sorry?
That's my Tilda Swinton impression. Don't you remember that bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, you keep breaking up.
Sorry.
Okay, I just don't understand how the train hasn't derailed before that, if it's been going for 15 years.
I think you just got to go with it.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much about the film that is sort of fantastical, like the way the carriages are and stuff like that. It's a very... It reminded me a lot of Paprika. Remember Paprika? We watched that anime, and that sort of... You've just got to go with it.
Yes, yeah. But, I enjoyed it.
Cool. Alex?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It reminded me of kind of Delicatessen, City of Ember, Dark City, that kind of like modern retro kind of thing. No, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I think there's a brilliant cast. I think every bit of it worked. I do think it's ridiculous, but I think it's kind of... I think because it's absurd, but it's also absolutely horrifying. And I think that the more absurd it gets, the more horrifying it is. They balance each other out. It's like a seesaw. The concepts of having people who hack their own arms off so that you don't eat a baby, and the kids working under the thing, and just them eating bugs mashed up. You balance that with the kind of aquarium room and your hairdressers, and Tilda Swinton's like this kind of children's villain, basically. She's like Margaret Thatcher, kind of Hitler, but a children's villain, basically, isn't she? But no, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I get what I do. I think it lulled a bit once she was dead. I thought the action sequences were really good. I love that gunfight.
They're too long, though, I think.
No, I didn't mind them. I wasn't bored. I just think I do agree that it's like the Matrix. It's like the second Matrix, isn't it? When you're building this thing up and up and up and up to get to one character who's going to explain it all, that payoff is always going to be difficult.
Well, also, like another Ed Harris film, Truman Show, where he plays Pitoff, and at the end, when they get, Jimmy Carrey gets to meet him, he has that problem there of like having to like carry a lot of the exposition in a condensed sort of thing, and I mean he does a good job, doesn't he? He's a good actor.
Oh yeah.
I think you're right. It's tough, that last scene, because it goes on and like you get the revelation of like, oh, but John Hurt was in cohorts with me.
Yeah.
But it's all gone off now. And but there's just children under here. Like it's sort of a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think luckily, Chris Evans is a good enough actor that he shows his dilemma of being like, do I take over and keep these people alive because they've lost so much by that point?
Yeah.
Or does he just kill him? And it's the kid coming up from the, being under the thing, and the kid coming up and going, that, it just pushes him too far.
Yeah, see, I didn't really like all that.
No, I quite liked that.
The ending didn't really work for me.
No? Well, how would you have ended it then? Or how would you have ended it?
Well, for me, like, I do really like this film. I don't think it's not like a classic, because I love how it looks, and I love the way that it gives them excuse to have every carriage looking different, and you can go through lots of very interesting different takes on how you would live in a small space. These like the salon and the kids bit and the school and things like that. And I like that kind of very... It's like a Fifth Element-y way of like exaggerated sort of caricatures of people, but at the same time, like I say, Alex, grounding that in proper violence, stuff like that. That is a very, having seen The Host and that Oki film I mentioned last week, that must be a very South Korean thing. I think it's like, I think it's an Eastern, an Asian perspective looking in at Western concepts and like taking like a Northern accent of like Tilda Swinton and shoving it in this thing, because why not? Because it seems, it's like us putting a samurai in a western. You know, isn't it? Like, to him, it just seems like a normal thing to do. And I mean, it's really interesting to see those kind of expressions of Western culture. I think my problem is the story underneath it. It isn't interesting enough for me. The idea, I love the idea of him going on the train, but then when the payoff for it, I don't really buy the John Hurt thing. That he is. Yeah,
I didn't buy that. I wasn't sure about that. I couldn't tell whether it was all just a lie to win him round, or if
no, I don't think so. Because if you know, when he says to him something about putting two arms around a woman.
Yeah,
like as though that's something that obviously he's said to him as well. And I can see what he's getting for. I think they're trying to make the point that like there's got to be all ends of society, which is depressing, but sort of I think he's saying, oh, that's why it kind of works in a way. But then I don't really buy that because he's hacked all his fucking limbs off. He's and he has, I don't know, like okay, I understand he's got to inspire this revolt to have a story that keeps people in place because there's too many people want to bit the train, but it just doesn't work. There's too much that could go wrong, isn't there? In doing that,
no. No, it does. Yeah. Do you know that according to Hollywood Reporter, they're making a TV series of it?
Bloody hell.
Yeah. In May 2017, David Digswell, who's from The Get Down and Kimmy Schmidt, will star in the series, and Scott Derrickson will direct a pilot and executively produce the series. Yeah. It's all about, I think it's more about the, it'll focus more on the world setting for Snowpiercer, such as the politics that had been hinted at during the film, as well as the mechanisms involving the train, with the television format giving them more time to explore these areas. I don't know if that would work or not, to be honest.
I think that sounds terrible. Because I think, like, it works because they don't explore it. And the way, like, the Happy New Year bit, I love that. And they all just stop and they all go, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
That's because the bridge is coming up. And that isn't, you can't flesh that out. That's nonsense. But it's just really fun nonsense, isn't it? So
yeah, and the bit when he slips on the fish, which I read Chris Evans didn't want to do, and the director had to convince him that it was going to work because it's so stupid. But, yeah. No, I accept all your criticisms. I think I was just blown away by I just thought it was so different that it kind of took me along with it.
Yeah.
But under deeper analysis, I think it fractures a little bit, sadly.
That's definitely the thing it's got going for it the most. The fact it is just so bloody weird, isn't it? Unlike anything else. Yeah. I have nothing much more to say, really, I don't think. Chris, you got anything else on that one?
No, I mean, I think it works. I think it's entertaining. I think the structure of it is pretty good. I mean, even though it's quite formulaic in the sense that we've talked about, like when you get to the end, that end sort of, the Wizard of Oz guy has to explain everything. So it's kind of, it's a little bit, it gets to the point where it's like, oh God, like we've had this, but otherwise, good. And I think everyone does a good performance.
There's a lot of good stuff going on. Yeah.
It was going to be John C. Reilly as the Tilda Swinton character originally.
That could work.
And he was going to be a bit more... He would be more like of a nice guy. He wasn't going to be so much of a villain. He would be more of a kind of bumbling bureaucrat rather than a kind of... Like, she's quite horrible and you
I think she's the weak link for me.
Oh,
she's the worst character. Yeah, I don't like Tilda Swinton because she always plays like just really kooky, silly, weird characters, and I just don't... I mean, I know she's typecast in a way, but like she ruins a lot of the later Wes Anderson films for me as well. Like she's just always acting so odd, and it just seems a bit because she looks a bit weird. Do
you think it's a bit like she's just kind of showing off a bit? It's more about her than the film.
But it's a little bit like the Bonham Carter syndrome, where you just always see her with her jam jar glasses.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Like even what's the Marvel one she's in?
Doctor Strange.
She's terrible in that because
I haven't seen that yet.
You just can't. Well, I mean, that film's not good overall, really. But I don't know. I just always see Tilda Swinton. I don't see a character, even when she's putting on. When she's got false teeth in and she's doing an accent. She's still just. I don't know. Just don't like her.
It's good that she dies. Then see. He was right.
Yeah,
to kill her
that's good. That's a good. I love a film that will just kill people. That are top billed or whatever. Like I love that kind of. And the fact that they kill off the what's his name, Jamie Bell as well.
Oh yeah,
the Irish lad. That's a lot of films wouldn't do that, would they? So
no.
Yeah, so it's one of those films that I think, regardless of how you take it, I think everyone should see it because it is so weird, shouldn't they? Like it's It's worth watching.
It was interesting to see because they have to get through some right at the beginning. They have to sort of explain the world, and there's some very like clunky dialogue, like someone says, "Oh, the high, what was it? In the whole wide train instead of the whole wide world."
Yeah. Although I do love that first scene where they just go straight into it, like they're counting him up, and he's stood up, isn't he? He won't sit down. I love that they just straight away get into that. You know instantly what he's doing, what it's all about.
It reminded me a bit of Equilibrium.
Oh, I like Equilibrium. Yeah.
In what way?
Just the getting to the end boss type thing.
I suppose, sort of totalitarian enemy. Yeah. Yeah, it's a better film than Equilibrium.
Well, this is better than Equilibrium.
Way better.
Gun Qatar, the film that invented Gun Qatar.
We'll have this discussion then.
Equilibrium is... When did you last see Equilibrium, Chris?
I don't know.
When it came out?
10 years ago.
Yeah, it is.
I've got it on DVD.
It is awful. I watched it quite recently. I was like, oh my God, this is... Anyway, we'll get to that. It's not on the list, so we can't rank it against it for now. So let's rank this one. Alex?
Well, I've put it in quite high, but I'm willing for it to go lower. But I actually had it at number 12.
Bloody hell. So that is below Close Encounters and above Fifth Element.
I'm happy for it to go lower, though. But like I said, I was kind of carried away. I probably did the rating straight after I watched it, so I was a bit like, yeah, like that about it. So I'm happy for that to go lower.
I was thinking kind of high 20s. Like around sort of Lost World, Batch Not Included, that sort of area. Chris, where were you thinking?
26.
So that's below Independence Day and above Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Because
I just think there's films above it. I like, as I said, I like heart in a film. I know this has got a little bit of heart, but I think things like Batteries Not Included are just like nicer films.
Yeah. See, I despise heart, as you know. And for that reason, I think it's a better film than those.
I think it's better than Batteries Not Included.
Never use the heart argument with Sam.
Yeah, it's true.
It's better than Batteries Not Included. I think it's definitely worse than Terminator 2, though.
Yeah.
Better than Her? No, I quite liked Her. I think Silent Running's too high in that list.
I love Silent Running.
Yeah. What about around there? Like, what about below T2 and above Silent Running?
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. We'll put it there then.
I'm not going to have an argument over Snowpiercer.
No.
It's a good title too, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a good title.
For some reason, I just keep thinking about, like, when you piss in snow. That's what I always... That's what I thought. Snowpiercer.
Well, that's where your brain goes.
Snowpiercer.
It's a different film.
Yeah.
That's the X-rated rip-off of this one.
It's actually like it is like a porn title, isn't it? Snowpiercer.
Like a Game of Thrones. Jon Snow porno. Yeah. Snowpiercer. Yeah. Winter is coming again and again.
Oh dear. Is this how we're going to be for the new year? Is that what you're saying?
My parents listen to this podcast as well. I apologise, Mum and Dad, for that terrible
dear.
blue joke.
As you mentioned, this does have the New Year's Day in it, so this is a perfect film to review at this point.
Yeah. Also, a lot of Ayn Rand sort of stuff, like the last one, and Bong Joon-ho, like the next week. So it's a good link film. Okay, that is our third and final film of the week. That was Ice Films. New in 19, Snowpiercer. I've lost it already.
Right
Day
down
After Tomorrow at 56 and Colony at 62. Not a vintage week.
No.
Maybe next week will be when we go to South Korea. We follow Bong Joon-ho back to his homeland and look at 3 South Korean films, which will be an interesting week if nothing else. But for now, that's the end. Check out the list so far at sciencefictionratingsystem.com. Now got 66 films in there. Follow us on Twitter at SF Rating System. Go to Facebook. We're on Spotify, apparently. We're on YouTube, apparently. We're on Instagram.
Still not found us on YouTube.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But yeah, the website's probably the best place. There's links to everything there. You can see all the episodes there. you might be able to see an article. I'm not going to put my Star Wars thing up, I don't think, because it's just a massive rant. I might share it with you too, but it's just a massive rant.
Well, we can talk about Star Wars on the next show.
Yes, next week we'll be getting into that. For now, that's it. Anything else anyone wants to share? Plug yourselves?
No. Nothing to share or plug.
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
Next year, though. Next year, I will have stuff to share and plug.
Oh. Mysterious.
Teaser.
Right. Well, that's it then. We'll see you next week. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Goodbye.